So Peter the Great had built this beautiful big garden for his wife Catherine the Great. It was basically like a winter residence, or a residence that they had whenever they traveled to Estonia. Once again, my love affair for trees. Just all these beautiful trees. I can only imagine what this place looks like in the summer. Seriously guys, Estonia is such a serious place, but our tour guides, Andres and Helen, are like the most hilarious tour guides ever. And in fact, super unique. Okay, by the way, this is like Helen's palace. Well, it could be, but this is Catherine's palace, although you know it is great. Andres's dog. So tell us about it. So there was a selfie contest.
Yeah, last year there was a selfie contest in this art museum, and actually my dog won it. And the grand prize was that you can choose a painting that they have here in their collection, and you can switch your face with the face on the picture, so they make kind of like a repro. And yeah, I have now a painting, and my dog has like very fancy clothes.
And your dog is famous, and you're just like some guy.
I'm just a random guy who just gives food to my dog. So, yeah.
And what's the name of your dog?
Actually, her name is Naaber, which means a neighbor. So I live with my neighbor.
You live with your neighbor?
Yeah.
That is so cool. See, forget the palace. His story was way better. Alright, so get this. This is where I'm standing. I'm going to turn around. Do you see any gates around you? No. That building right behind me is the residence and office of the President of Estonia. Isn't that crazy? There's like 2 security guards. Well, I'm sure it's a little more complicated than that, but this is how easy it is to just be right so intimate by the house of the President. So she's a girl, actually. She's the first President of Estonia, and if you see the flag at the top, that usually means that she is in the country, or the president is in the country. Can't really say if she's there or he's there, but yeah, that's usually what the flag means. And when they're not around, obviously the flag is down. And this building is right adjacent to Catherine's palace, and they share that garden. Even if it was built like 200 years later, it actually looks like it's one piece. That is so cool. So this is a very hipster area. It's called Telliskivi. Now, during the time of the USSR, during the Soviet Union, now these warehouses were used as electronic factories. And then later on, when the Iron Wall collapsed, so when the Soviet collapsed, these warehouses became empty, and perfectly all artists started to use these empty spaces to display their art, which you could see in the wall, through the buildings, and then eventually no one really protested that because it had turned the space into a beautiful piece of art. So you can see cafes, restaurants, and there's a lot of festivals. festivals that happen here as well, for music, including like, do you see what it is? It's a squirrel. So it's completely made all out of garbage. So these are just some of the artworks that you can see all around Telliskivi Square. So this is the Kalamaja area, and pretty much what makes these houses distinct is that they're completely, well not completely, but other than their corridors, but they're mostly made of wood. And this is one of the must-sees or must things to do when coming to Estonia. Now, back in the time of the Soviet Union, this was like a poor area. The poor people used to live here, the homeless, the artists, the starving artists, the gypsies used to live here. So this place was not the most notable for being, I guess, livable, or what's the word, prime real estate. And then later on, just like Telliskivi, that hipster area where we came from for coffee, because it's right next door. Now these houses were originally houses of factory workers that lived right next door to all those factories. And then later on, when artists had inhabited this area, it became a really cool place to live. And now it has become one of the poshest areas in Estonia. Very cool. And that's exactly why they wanted to live here. They realized that this place truly is very cool. So walking around here in Kalamaja, you know, the reason why they also consider this like prime real estate is because there's like a big park, and there's yards to their houses, which is a good place to raise a family. There's not a lot of traffic. It's not like major highways or big roads. Very peaceful part of town. Truly, truly peaceful. I'm the only one walking here right now. So we're now in the old town. This is like I guess the most awaited part of the day. So these medieval walls behind me are one of the best preserved medieval walls, city walls in all of Europe. Their beautiful Russian cathedral, and that pink building over there, it looks quite familiar. It is their parliament, and once again, no barricade, no security, or at least what we can see, and it's just a very simple building, and it kind of looks like the Russian Hermitage because it does have some Russian architecture to it. Okay, and of course, what is an old town or a tourist area without a souvenir store? city is really very small. In fact, that area right there, that's already their skyscrapers, their main city center. Let's go. Oh my god, this place is so beautiful. So this is like the main, Helen put it as like their Times Square, where it literally is the square, the town square. There's like taverns, there's bars, there's grilleries, and there's just, oh, so beautiful. Absolutely. So walking on this bridge, and I'm assuming, of course, this was a moat. Usually there's a body of water here surrounding the castle as a way of protection up on the hill, so that the enemies can't come near. But now there's this really quirky, lovely bridge that we're crossing, and usually I used to be so afraid, but now no problem. So that bridge was one of the most famous suspension bridges in all of Estonia. Well, it was actually built in Riga, and it wasn't even really meant for this place. It was originally put in a manor, but that manor kind of lost its importance, and so they transferred that suspension bridge for this place instead, which is really quite lovely.
So yeah, I don't know if you've ever tried juniper berries. They're really good. I mean, back in the old days when they didn't have vitamins or like candies even. So in the wintertime, just give these like berries every day to children, and it keeps them healthy.
And it comes from that tree right there at the back.
The juniper tree. But yeah, people who like alcohol, they also make gin out of it. It's like basically a solid gin when you eat it.
Well, sweet. It's so tiny.
Yeah, they're small.
Okay.
You guys want to try?
My gloves look like juniper berries.
Oh yeah, perfect. Where are they?
Yeah, where are they?
Disappeared.
I'm gonna try.
Just a very distinctive taste. Not that bad. No. She's acting. She's good actor.
It's like a peppercorn, to be honest.
But it's
the texture is quite crunchy. It's like a peppercorn. You know, the ones where they have on a steak. It's a little bit sweet. It's a little bit. I think I was expecting it to be tangy.
Oh no!
And it bursts with juice.
Oh, no, it's very dry.
No, but it has a very mild sweetness, and it's crunchy.
Hmm?
Crunchy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see this green stuff growing there? Not this. This is moss. But this one is more interesting. This is called lichen, and lichen is a very good indicator that the air around us is extremely clean, because lichen doesn't survive in if there's air pollution. So it's a very good indicator actually. Also, well, it's not good for the trees because it covers all the trees, and the trees don't get enough sunlight, and they will eventually die. but it's sort of like the trees sacrifice themselves for clean air.
I love that.
So it's all good. At
Can
the end
you
of the
eat
day.
this?
No. Well,
Okay.
try. I want to see the face.
No.
I wouldn't eat it.
No juniper berry, no juniper berry. These shoes though, they've survived like mountainous terrain. They've survived 3 years of like biking, hiking, shopping. Everything.
Mostly shopping.
Mostly shopping, no, but they've been through a lot. These babies I love. I have so many pairs of boots, but these ones are always used. Is a military theme park. It's one of the places that we stopped on the way to Riga. That's right. And the nice thing about it, there's actual like army tanks and helicopters, and on my left here, this is anti-communist partisans bunker. What makes it so interesting is, so these were like Estonians who didn't want to be part of the Soviet Union. So they would hide in these bunkers, and one way to lure them out is they would the Soviets would send like girls, like very pretty girls who had STDs. Ha! And of course, you know, if you have men in the forest, just all alone with no human contact, and they see pretty girls, ta-da! And they have human relations with them, aka sex. And what does that mean? Obviously, they'd be itching everywhere. They'd get all these little groovy crabs and God knows what else. And that would mean they would have to seek a doctor. And that would mean they would have to get out of the bunker. Very mean, but very smart. So this is the collection of all the Russian, right? And German guns, ammunitions. And what are these little bottles right here? To show like different types of pellets?
No,
bullets?
this is actually a different gunpowder.
Oh, gunpowder.
Yep.
And look at all these bullets ranging from the tiniest ones to the really big ones. And then let's go to the other room. And the other room is what now?
The other room is on one side you have the Soviet to Russian army guns, like from Soviet time, also now that Russia uses. And on the other side you have NATO, so what Estonia and NATO would use now, so the guns.
They're big.
Well, yeah.
They're crazy.
Well, it depends, like on top the smaller ones as well.
There's smaller
then,
ones as well, but of course what
revolvers.
catches your eye are certainly the much bigger
Yep,
ones.
yep.
Unbelievable. Okay, so Andres, tell me about this room.
Basically, this is the Second World War.
Okay.
You have on one side, well, at least how it was for Estonians. So on one side you have Red Army, the Soviet Army. On the other side you have Nazi Germany Army. And in the middle you have Estonia, which was squeezed between two superpowers, basically. So I am the Estonian. Very small comparing to the big different armies. And over here there's also, you can compare different stuff that the army had. So this was Soviet army, sort of like grenades and everything that the soldier would have, money and then literature. And yeah, on the right hand side you have a German one, so you can just compare like how things look like, kind of different. So
Estonia has the worst geographical location.
I would say so. I mean,
everyone wants you.
Throughout history, like everybody just wanted to get over us or wanted us. So it's like, and the part that really sucks is that you can't really move your country anywhere else.
You can't.
It's just like stuck here. So it's like take it as it comes. So it's just.
But now you're free.
Yeah, we are very happy about it also. So.
Exactly, that's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly. Let's hope it's gonna stay for long.
So we're here inside the museum, and you can actually buy actual like army paraphernalia.
Yeah.
Like not even paraphernalia, but these are like this one is a coat from the Latvian army, and I've always wanted a military coat, and it's 25 euros, but it's so big, and even if I have it altered, I would have to cut half the jacket
Probably, yeah.
for it to fit. And this lady over here said that I can come back next year, but I'll have to gain like 100 pounds for it to fit me. Then you have all these military hats.
Militsioner.
So
Or
police.
police.
So this is from the Soviet police.
Yep.
Yeah.
You look funny with a big jacket on. I have this
Oh,
fine.
Soviet complexity. Oh.
Okay, so I'm gonna buy this this record. It's John Lennon, but in Russian letters. And this one is €1. Steal.